Hi there, join me in this video when I'm going to try and photograph as many birds as I can in 3 days. Now if you're a regular to the channel, you probably will have seen me do this challenge before, but if you haven't seen it, then what's going to happen over the next 3 days, I'm going to try and photograph as many birds as I can. Now there are a few rules to this challenge. Firstly, I have to stay within a mile of where I live, and secondly, I have to actually photograph the birds for them to count towards the total. It's not enough to just see them, I have to get them in camera. Now last year I did manage to photograph 37 different species of birds, and every year the total has gone up, so I've really got my work cut out for me this year. Who knows what's going to happen? It's going to be a challenge, but I know that I'm really going to enjoy my photography.
In the night, I will shelter, I will fight, I will fight. Oh.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to spend a good hour and a half or so in the hide just seeing what birds I can see, and hopefully that should really bump my count up to get started.
So come to the water, you're sailing with the breeze. Take a step into the river, where you will find peace.
So I've actually spent about 2 hours now in the hide, and I've had quite a good range of sightings. I've seen 13 different species so far, so that's about on par with what I saw last year. It's not quite as good. Now I did notably miss a great tit. It did land and it flew off without me being able to photograph it, so that doesn't count. So that would have been 14, which would have equaled this time last year coming out of the hide. But I've got 2 more days to come back into the hide and possibly see extra things. I didn't see a woodpecker, which is a potential visitor to the garden, but I did see quite a few other sightings as well, so I'll show you those now.
So come to the water, where you will find peace. Take a step into the river and get down on your knees.
I've just had a little walk around the outside of the house. I did see a wren but didn't manage to photograph it, but I have managed to get some swallows, and some of them were in flight as well, so I'm really excited about that. And I did see a chiff-chaff in the top of a tree. Not the best photograph, but it still counts. This is editor me just interjecting. Throughout the course of the video you might hear me say that some of the photographs are not particularly good, but when I got them back in the computer some were better than I expected, and also over the course of the 3 days, if I did manage to get a better photograph of a bird, it's that one that I've used. I've just spent a short while down at my hide by the pond, and there's not a lot of activity this morning. I have seen a moorhen, so my count has gone up a little bit, and what I've done now is I've come down to the local stream just to see what I can see here, because it does overlook a field, and in the last couple of years I have had quite a bit of success here. I've seen some long-tailed tits and jays and magpies out in this field in front of me. Unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be a lot of activity here either this morning. Last year I did spot a nuthatch in this tree just here behind me, and I've come back today and sure enough it's revisiting the same hole that it was visiting last year. Now it might be a different bird, I don't know, it's definitely the same one, but it's using the same nest hole, so I've got a picture of that. I've just spent some time by this other pond just here. Now, I did see a grey heron and a tree creeper, and unfortunately I couldn't quite take their photograph. The heron flew behind some trees and the tree creeper was just too far away. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to this location again tomorrow, but I'm going to bring my pop-up hide with me, and I'm just going to spend some time sitting overlooking this pond because I think it's probably got quite a bit of promise. So at the end of day one, my running total is 20. Now that has been bolstered by a long shot of a Canada goose, a crow and a buzzard that aren't particularly great. So I do hope to better those over the next few days. And I have missed at least 3 species, a wren, a grey heron and a tree creeper this morning. So that could have been 23, but those that I didn't photograph don't count. So the running total is 20. So I am over halfway, but I've still got a lot of work to do in the next few days. So stay tuned and see if I manage it. Welcome to day 2. So I'm starting today with 20 sightings already seen. Hopefully I'll be able to add some more today. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pop-up hide back to the pond that I visited yesterday to see what I can see there. So come along, let's go down there. I'm set up now in the hide by the side of the pond. Can't see a lot of activity at the moment. I did see a moorhen on the far side of the pond as I got here. It's not there now, but hopefully now I've stopped moving about, something might happen, because this is where I saw the heron and the tree creeper yesterday. So I'll just be a little bit patient. Now I've made the effort to come down here with the hide, and hopefully I should see something. Well, despite this being a lovely location, I've sat here now for 45 minutes and the most that I've seen is a magpie from a long distance away. So my count has gone up by 1, but the photograph wasn't very good because of the distance that was involved. It seems to be a little bit of a running theme at the moment, that I'm only getting long distance shots. They are increasing the count, but they're just not quite satisfying. So I've called back at home and I've dropped off nearly all of my gear. The hide's gone back, my tripods have gone back. All I've got now is my camera around my neck on a strap, and hopefully what will happen now is I can be much more responsive. If I see a bird, I can get the camera to my eye quickly and hopefully stand a better chance of catching it, because at the moment I do really need quite a bit of luck if I'm going to stand any chance of beating last year's total. I just had a little bit of excitement. My app said that it heard a whitethroat, and it seemed like it was in the top of the tree here behind me, and I did manage to get a photograph, but when I've looked at the photograph it actually just looks like a chaffinch, so maybe the app was picking up something else, but it is another one for the count. I spent a little bit more time at the location where the app heard the whitethroat, and I have actually got a genuine photograph of one now. Coming out with just the camera has made me so much more responsive. I'm getting much better shots now. I got a shot of a great tit in a tree, which was good, a house martin in flight, and probably what is my best shot so far of the 2 days, which was a starling in flight as well, and it had got some kind of grub in its mouth as well, and it was a real cracker of a shot. It almost flew over my head, and I've got it full frame as well, so it's really pleasing shot that was. This is another one of my local ponds. Now you may have seen photographs from here that I took during the winter with ice and snow on this pond. Obviously it's not like that today, it's glorious weather, and I've just seen a pair of tufted ducks. over the last couple of days, I must have had about 5 or 6 different sightings of the heron and not been able to take its photograph. And I was just walking beside this river and it took off from just down here, and I managed to get a few quick photographs as it flew off. So finally, I've got the heron. Well, that's the end of day 2, and I've managed to photograph 29 different species of birds today, which is really good, and it's given me a fighting chance of beating last year's score tomorrow. So stay tuned and see if I manage it. Welcome to day 3. I've got several places I plan to visit today. I have had a tip of some rare sightings, so hopefully that should be productive. And I'm going to stick with the technique of just taking out the camera with no tripod so I can be quick and responsive, because it seemed to work really well yesterday. So come with me, let's see if I manage to beat last year's total. I've just spent some time down at my hide by the pond. Now, I didn't see a great deal, but I did manage to get a coot, and as I was walking back up the track, then I did see a dove on the top of one of the buildings on the side of the path, so that's added another 2 to my total. In this field here behind me, there are some Canada geese, but also some grey lag geese, which I haven't yet photographed, so that's added another 1 to my total. And also there was a gull flying around my head while I was taking those pictures, so I managed to get a photograph of that, so that's a bonus 1 as well. One of the great things about living in a close-knit countryside community like I do is that not only do I get access to a lot of private land that most general public wouldn't do, but I also get people messaging me with tips of things that they have seen, sightings of birds, because they know that I take photographs. And one of my friends texted me to say that they'd seen a red kite circling over these fields here behind me, so I just had to come and see if I could take its photograph. I did manage to get its photograph, which was amazing. It was from quite a long distance away, but while I was here as well, I also managed to get a photograph of a skylark and a lapwing. And so that is 38, and we've beaten last year's score. Now, I was quite dubious going into this challenge whether I'd managed to beat last year's total, but I've managed to do it with half a day's spare. I'm only half a day into day 3, and I've stopped now once I've got 38 to give me a little bit of chance next year. I could have photographed at least 5 other species that I saw, but they were too quick and I didn't manage to capture them in the camera. So there's still hope for next year, but I just want to give myself a little bit of a fighting chance, and I'm really pleased that I've got 38 this year. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that video, and if you have, don't forget you can let me know down below in the comments, or you can nip over to my Instagram or Vero account, that's at Oakden Photography. Leave me a comment there, and you can also see lots of my photographs. Now, if you like what I do on the channel and want to help support me to make future content like this, then you can leave via the gift shop. That's at Teespring. There I've got a range of merchandise on offer, so go over there, check it out, because a purchase really does help me out and it's very much appreciated. But you don't have to spend any money at all to support the channel. You can do that simply by clicking like, subscribe and the bell notifications. It really helps me out, and it makes sure that you don't miss out on any future content. Watch out for next week's video. That goes live on Sunday. In the meantime, go and check out this video just up here. But all that's left now is to say stay safe, and I'll see you soon.